I'm going to call the meeting to order.
Okay.
And I'm going to look at the approval of the minutes from last meeting. If you have the minutes and want to check through them real quick to see if anybody has any changes.
I looked at them before. I do not have any changes.
Anybody?
No.
Okay, hearing no changes, let's take a vote.
I'll make a motion to approve
Oh,
the minutes.
yes, that's what I'm supposed to do.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, town administrators report.
Okay, so Lachelle is actually very busy today, so I'm just going to give you a rundown of the last town council meeting. So she wanted to know that at the last meeting on June 14th, they went ahead and they adopted the budget and they set the real property tax rate for the FY22. And then she wanted you to know that they kept the tax rate the same, so it has not changed in numerous years. They had a public hearing for ordinance number 209, which was the update of the comprehensive plan for a future growth area section. That was the one that we talked about and that you guys reviewed for the potential annexation. So they did go ahead and do that. And I can tell you that since then, the annexation has been put on hold. So we do have the comprehensive growth areas, like that portion's done. So if they ever do decide to come back and decide they want to continue with the annexation, we'll be able to pick up right where we left off. But right now, it's just on hold. They also did 2 liquor license letters of support. One was for Yield Town Cafe, and the other one was for Everyday Saints Brew House. And that's what she wanted you to know.
Why
Do you have
was
any
the
questions
why
on
was
that?
the annexation put on hold?
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a public hearing.
I didn't. No, the public hearing was for the comp plan section.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was also for the.
No, 'cause they
No,
had
that.
the annexation would come after
After
that.
that, okay.
Right.
And I think that he's just trying to get all his affairs in order, and I know that they were having a hard time getting some of the paperwork pushed through, so they're just going to put it on hold for a little bit.
Wasn't anything major though.
No, nothing major. Nothing major. I'm sure we'll see him again once they get all their I's dotted and T's crossed.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, next order is new business.
Okie dokie. The only thing that you have on your agenda today is the 2020 MDP annual report. We have to do this once a year, which I'm certain you're familiar with. Because we issued so many new residential permits this year, because we issued over 50, we had to fill out the long form. That's why it looks different than it normally does. So I went ahead and I included it in the packet that I emailed to you. It basically just gives the state a summary of what we did. We issued the 76 new residential permits. We did do the comprehensive plan update. That was actually updated for the first annexation we did for the nursing center. We did several text amendments throughout the year, so those are all listed. It's very self-explanatory. The only thing that I did want to go into is, so in section 4, the funded agricultural land, we don't have to do any of that. There isn't any in Leonardtown at all, not in our incorporated limits. So that section does not have to be filled out. The measures and indicators in section 5, that's all very standard. You can very clearly see where it was the 76 building permits that were issued throughout the year, and the only subdivision that was approved was the phase 2 of Meadows at Town Run for 47 lots. So that's where that is. Section or table 4D, this one surprised me a little bit because we actually didn't have not one single commercial building that was approved and built in 2020.
I thought that
They
was
were
interesting too.
approved and built in 2019 and 2021, but not one in 2020. So that section is pretty much empty. And then also for the adequate public facilities ordinance in section 6, we didn't have to do that. You're only required to do it every 5 years, and our last one was done 2 years ago. So we're not required to do that for another several years. That's basically it for the report. It just gets attached to a letter saying that you guys heard about it, you I answered any of your questions. You voted on it and said that I could submit it to the state. And that's basically all that goes to them. And we're good until next June.
Okay.
Do you have any
Good,
questions?
I had one thing that caught my interest. It asked about a bicycle on pedestrian plan.
And we do
don't
not have one.
It seems like that'd be a good thing. Why don't we do that? Or
I'm not certain why we don't have one. I know that there is one in the works. There's one planned when Tudor Hall is developed. Right now, we don't have many people bicycle around here all the time. And we obviously have people out walking around all the time. But there's really no bike lanes, no bike paths at this point in time. So until we kind of get those and until the wharf is expanded a little more, I think that that's what they were kind of waiting on. But it is something that's in the works and will be done, especially when Tudor Hall gets developed. Because then we'll have so much more waterfront down there and there'll be a nice trail down there. I think they're looking at doing some walking trails through Tudor Hall Farm from, the wharf all the way down to the winery, maybe even a bike path, something like that, so.
When
At
are
that
they
point,
developing Tudor Hall? What are the plans?
The land swaps are being looked at right now, so it just depends on how long those are gonna take, but hopefully within the next several years, we'll see stuff start to happen over there. I mean, it would be really nice.
2015.
Yeah. I mean, it's been going on for a long time. It really has, but, I mean, it's such a huge project. It's something that we definitely wanna take our time with. It's not, because it's such a huge tract of land, it's not something that we wanna mess up. You know what I mean? That's gonna be a big part of Leonardtown, so we wanna make sure that it is planned down to the T with all of your pedestrian walkways, plenty of parking, walking, making sure that the housing pods are in their right places, not affecting the critical area or any sensitive areas. Make sure all your lighting is correct, all your signage, your stop signs. We really want to make sure that that's planned properly, because it's going to end up connecting not only the downtown, the wharf, but it'll connect some of our side streets such as Fenwick, and I believe Charles and Duke. So those will all connect going into Tudor Hall. And then it'll also run all the way back out to Route 5.
Yeah.
So at that point, we'll almost have that circle going all the way through, Leonard's Grant, Clark's Rest, Tudor Hall, back across, and then down through, your area and back across.
It's essentially
So-
connecting the entire town.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
what
it's like
we're
a central
trying
area.
to do.
Yeah.
Especially for the people that live in the community.
And to the water, yeah.
So you'll have the entire water loop, but then, because we're bisected by the state highways, you wanna make sure that the local citizens know how to get around to any potential traffic on those two state highways. So by making that big circle, they can get from one side of town to the other and hopefully only have to just cross that road. That's the idea, hopefully. It's just getting there. It definitely takes a joint effort between all the agencies. So hopefully within the next couple of years, you'll see some kind of development coming through.
Thanks, Gina.
No problem.
Is there any more discussion, questions?
Well, one question, I guess just to follow up on what he said, so I guess that bike and pedestrian thing was not required at all. It's
No.
just something
Yeah,
that's
they just
nice
wanna
to
know if
have.
we have one.
Okay,
Mhm.
which makes sense to do it when we do Tudor Hall.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
All right, do I hear a motion?
make a motion to approve,
Is it to accept or
just talking about.
to allow you to do that?
Yep.
I will second it.
All in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
Other business, in-house permits. Did anybody have any questions, discussion on what you see there?
Nope, it's all the normal stuff, right?
All the normal stuff. I have noticed that you'll see probably next month when I give you June's report, you'll see a big slowdown. And you can tell what's happening is now that everything's opening back up, people are actually going back to work. So all those permits that they pulled for projects on their houses, those are kind of drifting off. There's not as many. I noticed it started towards the later part of May, and then definitely in June. So they're starting to slow down a little bit, which gives me a chance to breathe.
All right, well, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
I'll second.
Oh, wait, second.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Gotcha, covered.